What do I do with my guards?
Yeah, like in practice, what are like the three drills that you do like on a consistent basis?
Okay, so well, I like to have a noodle at practice just because I think stationary ball handling is great. On the move ball handling is great for reps, but is a game like no, but I think a lot of ball handling is just getting comfortable with the ball. So whatever ball handling you're doing, if you can, like if it's stationary, go around and kind of like give some of this, or if you have some like a stick or something, like give a little bit of defense because that helps a lot. So what I like to I like to mix up stationary stuff. I like to add tennis balls sometimes, right? Because that helps with the hand-eye coordination. So I'll have them simple, like start with pounds, throwing up a tennis ball, throw down a tennis ball here, catch it. Can you go grab me a tennis ball? Thank you. So just kind of for the warm up. So I'm the guards coach actually for East Bay. So for example, today I had my girls start with a warm up. I like the biggest things I like to think with ball handling is change of pace and change of levels, right? Like to at least be efficient at like utilizing your dribble. Okay, because it's easy to sit here and go like this, but how many times are you going to do this in a game? Probably never, unless you're like calling out the play. Again, I think this is still useful just to get comfortable with the ball, but I think the more game-like ball handling we can do, the even more comfortable the players will get. Okay, so something really simple like I start is I go too high, too low, too high, too low, because changing levels is what really gets the defense to go here, and that's what we want. So I'll start with 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? So it's working on changing their levels. Again, in a game, you don't want them to dribble here, so really emphasize like get it shoulder level. But I think showing them like changing that level is really good. Another thing in terms of changing level and changing pace, right? I'll have them simple. Again, how many times are we really just going to be here, like doing a crossover like that? It helps with reps, it helps getting comfortable, but I want to think change pace, change levels, right? So when I do crossovers, I don't just go crossovers here, I go boom, 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 right? So I'm going from high to low, kind of quick to slow, right? Boom, boom, slow, quick, high, slow, slow, quick, high, low. So I like to, everything I kind of do is like change level, change pace, right? Because you see the best ball handlers, the best scorers, that's kind of what they're able to do. Yeah.
It's not about ball handling in general, but it's more about like decision making with
Yeah.
ball handling. So like when you have a guard, you're trying to teach them to be aggressive with the drive, right? So how do you get them to be more aggressive with the drive and having a goal of going to the basket? It's not just veering out to the side and then doing the wrong
Yeah.
defense, right?
Attack the hip. So I like to think like, so this is actually a good drill for this. So if V and I hold this, okay? So ball's in her right hand. I'm going to take 2 pounds. Then I'm going to take 1 pound. We're going to go shoulder to shoulder, okay? 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. So now you're getting comfortable getting through that shoulder, right? So I always like to teach my kids, we literally do this at practice, attacking the hip. I don't want to go here, right, and get an offensive foul. But the more that I can think I want to get into her shoulder here, the better angle I'm going to have. There's actually a pretty good drill for this where you could do one-on-one. So let's say you had a cone here, and let's say a cone here. Okay, if we're together, she's on defense, I'm on offense. Okay, so I'm going outside to inside. You're going inside to out. Okay, so whenever I start, then she goes. So I'm going inside to outside. She's going inside to outside. So we're going here. Okay, now I have to really work on attacking that angle, right? Because if I go veer out, she's just going to beat me to the spot. So this is kind of something that I use here and at East Bay. Yeah, 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 and angles. Like even if you like simply had a drill of a line at the top, a line at the wing, swing it, and coach is there, and you're making them feel you hit you every time. But that ball handling drill is pretty good. Like you can also do a like cross into it. So same thing of hitting the shoulder. 1, 2, hit. 1, 2, hit. Okay, so you're still getting those reps of like ball handling, but getting comfortable attacking to that shoulder. Yeah. 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 So I simply like hand-eye coordination stuff, right? Because sometimes we're here, right? This makes us force us to look up, right? And having to balance both, I think it's big too, like as an offensive player, having to see the whole court. My favorite one is starting them with this, throw, cross. You have to keep this dribble alive until you get that ball, right? Because some of my players will be here, pick it up and get it. No, keep that dribble alive. It helps them when they're having to deal with a lot of stuff to not just pick it up right away, right? Because players tend to pick it up when they panic, right? So even if you're panicking, keep that dribble alive. You're having to focus on everything, right? And then you can also do like a between cross here, still trying to keep that dribble alive. So I like to do that. Like I do this even with kids who are like 6 and they're struggling and they're not going to get it, but it just like helps them kind of get out of their comfort zone. I think a big thing with ball handling too is like, yeah, you want to do the simple things for them to be comfortable, but throw hard things at them that they might not get, because then that's when they really get like better at ball handling. Like this kind of stuff, you can do it at home. Like, but give them stuff that kind of makes them feel uncomfortable, like they're gonna mess up on. Like it's hard to mess up on a simple pound like this, right? I mean, our 3-year-olds do, but like try and give them some ball handling that kind of gets them out of their comfort zone. But I'm a big believer in like, I like partner stuff too. So like if we're partners, like I like to start us off like if you have that ball in that hand, right? We're just tossing back and forth to each other. So we're here trying to keep that ball high, right? Like this is helping them with coordination, and then we could get into a double pound push pass, double pound push pass. So like, yeah, so we're here, 1, 2, pass, 1, 2, pass, right? And we would obviously be farther out, okay? And then we can also go cross, pass, cross, pass, right? And kids struggle with it, like, but I think, and I've learned this a lot from Packy, is the more challenging stuff you give them and kind of throw them into the fire, that's when kids really like develop and get better. Yeah. Like that's when like, and I struggle with it sometimes because it's like a fine line of like them failing, right? And like, what if they're like, I can't do this, I'll never be able to do this. But then 2 weeks later when they can, it's like, oh, you can. So work, they don't, yeah. I think like doubling the reps on that left hand. So let's say you're in practice and like 50 pounds right, we're gonna do 100 pounds left. So like, or whatever your weak hand is. I like to like even implement in warm-ups some ball handling, and I'll do all left hand or all weak hand. So like, okay, we're gonna do skips for our warm-up. It's all left hand. We're gonna do butt kickers, all left hand. So like, kind of like little tricks like that where they don't even really know that they're working on it, but they are. 100%. We do a lot of heavy ball stuff here. Yeah, I'm a big believer in heavy ball. Actually, I did a shooting class the other day and we used a heavy ball for shooting. Like close to the basket, heavy ball. Just because Paul George does heavy ball shooting. But yeah, I think with the left hand, just like doubling the reps